It's all tied up here, 1-1, Team Freedom versus HeroesHearth, and you missed it right before the break. HeroesHearth qualified for BlizzCon by picking up that one win, so congratulations to them. During that break, you also saw the cheer bar, the global cheer bar. Don't forget, you've got 1 week left to get your cheers in for your favorite team, whether it's Team Freedom, whether it's HeroesHearth, or I'm sure we've got a lot of new Octalysis fans as of late. You can get involved in that by getting some in-game stuff for yourself. But Dreadnought, our attention here on this series, we saw the Zul, the double support is back. Lutano and Kron, they're trading blows. We're getting a little bit of everything, it seems like, today.
Yeah, though we are getting the double support, I am still a little surprised that Vala being the backup within that has been the kind of go-to. Raynor stands out the most to me in that kind of avenue. Even with that, though, Raynor struggles in one area that you typically don't have within a double support, and that is the gap closer and ability to force the initiation, which is what you got there from the Vala with the vaulting forward, the Rain of Vengeance, things like that here. So it's going to be interesting if double support is the meta, and I'm not going to lie, after what we've gotten so far, I wouldn't be surprised, at least for the rest of this week, that we expect a lot of double support. Who are going to be those, hyper carries in that role? Because Greymane, he's not the beast he used to be. Yeah. Vala, one of the few that has the range assassin to have that threat, and then Raynor has the struggle of not having that gap closer.
If you can keep him alive, that's it. Let's see where Battleground number 3 is going to be and who it's really going to support. If we get the double support, that carry. The Raynor, you bring up a good point. With that, Vala has far more burst potential than anybody, but a lot squishier than most. HeroesHearth going to take us to Volskaya Foundry here, something where sustain is the name of the game. Double support, we've seen it before. We're going to see if we see it again.
And another thing to consider when looking at Vala is she's one of the few heroes in that ranged assassin role that actually provides a pretty reasonable, pretty consistent hard crowd control. That is one of those, considering what that hero does within its element itself. Very rarely, when you think of, oh, hey, we need an interrupt for ETC, how many assassins can you depend on to be that one? Vala is one of the few with Rain of Vengeance. The ones that come to mind, things like Tychus, with the grenade, something like that to get that interrupt there. So I think that's part of the reason we get that Vala, but I just want to know, is that actually going to be the universal standard? Because in the past, double support was heavy with Ariel, which was dependent on how much damage output you had. That's no longer the supporting outcome. The more damage, the better at all points in time, but it's not the exact 1-to-1 ratio it used to be.
Well, you mentioned the more damage, the more healing with the Ariels there. The Whitemane says the more damage I do, the more healing. So taking matters into their own hand. Team Freedom, what if we just start getting bans on supports?
I think it's probably going to happen. Medivh, pretty much a support, still banned out. Abathur, pretty much a support, still banned out. And last up, nope, not so much a support, but a tank.
Yeah,
banned out.
It's interesting, these teams. It's one thing that I noted because we've had the trade-off in first pick. Team Freedom dropping that last game. For HeroesHearth Dreadnought, since part 2 of phase 2 here, they're 14-7 overall. They haven't had the unblemished record that they did in the first part. Some things happened. But in that second pick slot, 7 of those losses, 5 of them have been from the second pick position, which means they're the ones picking the battleground, coming in with potentially their strategy. And it's important to note that last game, Team Freedom, they have a much higher win percentage from the first pick position, winning 2/3 of their game there, only half of them from second pick position. For HeroesHearth, a little different, 86% from the first pick percent, 70% from the second pick. So a change in priority on who likes the map pick, who likes first pick. So already a change up in this series.
It is pretty interesting there to have that much kind of dominance within the first pick position there from HeroesHearth Esports.
They're one of the few teams.
Well, yeah, one of the few, because statistically speaking, more often than not, teams are more dominant from that second pick based on the comfortability of the battleground selection itself. Li Ming, interesting ban in the third ban there from HeroesHearth Esports, as we did get the Miranda plus a Blaze here from Freedom within their first 3 picks. Last ban from Freedom.
I imagine Homicidal will be the Maiev player. I think he's flexed over to that in the past for teams he's played with. The sub here for HeroesHearth today brings a lot of playmaking potential to Volskaya because there's always going to be a fight around those control points, and the more control you have over that, always in your favor.
And pairing it with a Deckard, that double massive AoE crowd control opportunities between a tether into a scroll ceiling, even if you don't get the tether, it really sets the team up for success here. And then HeroesHearth Esports committing with a Genji and a Tyrael. Ishbu, though, Tyrael is not the warrior that we actually get him on as of late. Early in his career entrance into HGC, for me, he was one of the only Tyraels that I was like, oh, nice, we got ourselves a Tyrael here in North America. So it's going to be cool to see that. Feels very Simplicity-esque here with their draft.
Yeah, Tyrael's success has been not great. Coming into this weekend, 2-16 overall.
Is that success? I just want to say, like, I don't know if you say he's had success. I think it's better to be like, he just hasn't.
Just, yeah, there's not been much.
2-16.
Yeah, it's not so great.
That's a tough time.
That was before yesterday when he was played again.
Yeah.
Whoa! Whoa!
That's a twin blade.
Oh, is it?
It's always a twin blade in my heart. Look, if you've got Butcher, I have twin blade Varian.
I love twin blades. I mentioned it on stream a few weeks ago. A good buddy of mine, TBK, I'll be your Abathur Adrenal Overload all day, and you can run twin blades. It's the most OP thing you'll play. You'll be like, Illidan who? I'll be like, I know, right?
I don't know if it'll be that good.
Oh, trust me.
I get what you're saying here. Yeah, the last pick of the variant. The only thing, I guess, that makes me lean towards going with the actual twin blades itself is purely based on the fact that they already have the Tyrael with them, and having that amount of damage output is really going to matter for them. There are good-ish crowd control targets, but I would not look at this as a good enough, I feel like, for them to, I guess, go for the commitment towards the taunt all-in. That's the standard we always get, and I always want the twin blades, though, so I'm just going to be... Maybe I'm lame, and it's going to be
I'm with you. I love twin blades. Taunt, to me, comes to mind just because it's a Genji.
Yeah, okay.
You swift strike through, gives you the target. You can't warp out if you're Phoenix. Dread doing a little dance over here.
Yeah, sorry. I thought we were going in the game already.
Almost.
Because I was going to say in my head, Genji's on that team, right? So I'm not even worried about the Genji.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying is Genji has the stationary target to swift strike through. You can all in on that target. But... oh, we got High King's Quest.
It's it, baby. Let's go. We got twin blades. I'm already accepting it as true. It is absolute. There's no way whoever is picking Varian, you cannot go High King's Quest and not take McIntyre.
I love you, man. I know I said mean things about your Dahaka in Game 1, but please, please, I'm sorry. I was just being honest, you know? There were some isolations that didn't seem very McIntyre isolation. This game, though, we got the High Kings, we've got the twin blade, and I'm ready to be amazed.
Crowing on Maiev. This is so different than anything I expected today. But look, Dread, this is a team, they're playing with house money now. They're qualifying for BlizzCon. It doesn't matter if you win or lose now. That ticket is punched.
Yeah, you can't even argue. Maybe there's going to be better seating. Maybe... you know, intimidate the opponents. At this point, it doesn't matter for HeroesHearth. They are not afraid of anyone, anything.
There's only one team that's truly rooting for HeroesHearth, and that is Octalis. They want to have their shot at Team Freedom to take over that number 3, potentially number 2, but Tempo Storm still looking strong to finish out in one of those top spots.
Pretty good trade there from Homicidal on the Genji. Into the Phoenix straight up there. See, that continues to be a problem as the game moves on. Early game, not too good for the Genji comparative to some of the later game damage output and kill potentials that he does end up having here.
One of my favorite things about Varian with the Phoenix on the other side, Shield Breaker, doesn't come in until later in the game, but a very strong tool against a Phoenix with that shield.
Turret camps picked up from both sides. No interest here displayed by Team Freedom or anything of the like to get an invade opportunity. Normally with drawn to compositions, you want to be as offensive as you can due to that early game kill potential, but she does suffer a little bit into that now. More on the healing avenue since her rework. She ends up committing to the support camp. Blaze has already made his way up, and Jayhao, that's one thing we got to talk about. The offlane matchup here, it's like not even close. Blaze wave clear dominates compared to the Varian. So Varian's going to be miles behind. We'll find out here at the rotation. Varian making his way up. Jet propulsion comes out. A lot of damage onto Kroan as he drops a vault. Ishbu has to get the follow-up onto the Aldruins. First kill there found onto the Maiev. Hopefully McIntyre made it in position in time to get value out of that High Kings because he needs 5 hero takedowns to complete 1/3 of that. We'll see if that's the case as the game moves on, but Oh, boys, we did it.
Twin blade.
We did it. We're twin blading it. For anyone who maybe doesn't know why Twin Blades variant is so interesting is because when his taunt opportunity is Nasmus getting pressured down below, McIntyre, can he find takedown number 2? He does. Or just number 1. Excuse me, you're right. There early on, didn't get the first one, sadly. I'm just want to see that stack because that's the hardest part of this quest. I feel like in more often
competitive play.
Yeah, you always get the auto attacks. You can get globes, but to reliably get 5 takedowns within every game and have Varian in range,
including being the off laner. Yeah, that makes it even harder because it's not just like somebody dies on the battleground. You got to be somewhere nearby.
Oh.
Did he?
I don't.
Hold on. I'm gonna hover. I'm gonna hover. Oh wait, I gotta click on him.
We're about to find out. Jeff Propulsion comes down. Tyrael did end up going down. Crowin moving up here, trying to get help out McIntyre, coming out with Fan of Knives resets, but not setting up a big reset there for Homicidal.
He was close enough, so he has 2 stacks, 8 of the 20 globes gathered. He already has all of his 50 hero autos, so you get, it's 3 tier, and then once you complete it, you get the bonus auto attack damage, which is always so glorious.
And then when pairing that with the Twin Blades, you chunk.
Yeah.
You start doing a lot of damage.
There's only one thing, if it makes it to 20, you go Frenzy and just go more auto. Somewhere out there's a happy Kendrick swish.
Also, one thing to consider with Sanctification and Twin Blades variant, once it gets completely stacked, their core kill potential is pretty high between those two. It's not, it's not as good as an Illidan, but it's still very, very good.
It's like a stacked Butcher. But at the level 7 pickup, getting the healing off of your auto attacks is... Twin Blades is nice. The High King's Quest is great. But getting the heal at level 7 is what makes a Twin Blades variant very difficult to take down. As Zugrug, I think that interrupted his Dwarf Toss. It did, Dread.
It did interrupt the Dwarf Toss. Brought him back for another kill there. McIntyre friends trying to track down another as the stun lands on a Mac. He moves up. He does not afraid of anything, trying to get value out of that level 7. And that is part of the thing with Twin Blades as Yoda ends up going down, giving Homicidal that reset. Good dodge onto the Jet Propulsion out from Ishbu. But Twin Blades is very Illidan-esque in the fact that he has to keep going offensive to actually be defensive. So expect Ishbu, or excuse me, McIntyre to just keep going.
Dread.
He's 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
12 out of 20 in globes.
Things are escalating quickly here for McIntyre. One more kill seems extreme. When you get 4 out of 5, 5 minutes in, even in quick match, that's no easy task.
Yeah, and he's maybe looking to prep up that globe there in the top right with the camp, but not enough damage to able to secure that as we find ourselves in overtime in favor of Heroes Hearth for now. 99 to 99 between the teams. Ishbu moves up. McIntyre isolating Yoda, taking that 1-versus-1. Now he's going to isolate Collusion, throws down the Lion's Maw. Not enough damage to set up a kill yet as they go in on Lutano, try to find a reset. It's not going to give the reset, but they do get the kill.
Oh, and McIntyre, he's like, let's go. Just instantly charges in. There's not a lot of burst damage where I feel Shield Wall will be the pickup at 10. But there we go, nice body blocking. Ishbu comes in with the Eldruin's Might, will help lock down. They get the lockdown onto Zugrug. As the Protector coming in, Collusion will eat some damage from that Protector.
J-Hop, we're there. We're 2 out of the 3. We're
13 out of 20.
We are globes away from feeling the power of High King's Quest.
In one day, I get a Butcher and a Twin Blades variant.
Yeah.
Oh, Yoda.
I mean, half of those are really exciting. The other half,
yeah. We clearly know. Fresh meat is always great, as it will be the charge, so cooldown reduction on that. You mentioned staying on top of that backline. This lets you do that far more effectively. There was a point you brought up, I think it might have been yesterday, or maybe it was last week when we were mentioning the Tyrande, about how Illidan can be an effective hero to stay on top of that back line.
Yeah.
But if your Illidan is named Varian, maybe not so bad.
I mean, they're almost one and the same, except there are some small differences when it comes to mobility and such, as you watch McIntyre comfortable to take a lot of trades. One thing I was curious about, if we would see maybe some deviation to go with like oil attack speed debuff or something like as this game kind of progresses to deal with the fact that this is a Twin Blade Genji, Varian with a Maiev, all of them auto attack centric heroes.
It's weird because that is an ability that I sometimes forget about that Blaze has.
Yeah.
We mentioned counters towards Tyrande. That might be something to consider for some players going forward. There was another one for Garrosh. A little more difficult to land, I'd say, but if you hit your ground breaker and you clip them with that, you also get the auto attack slow.
But then you taunt him and he kills you because he has the High King's Quest finished, and nobody's afraid if you're a Twin Blade variant. Support camp started. McIntyre making his way up. No invade there quite yet because Crowan not in position along with McIntyre. Jet Propulsion going to be thrown down. HGC moves forward. Do we get the Sank? There is the Warden's Cage thrown down. There's the Sanctification. Stay a while and listen, and the resets are going to be there for Crowan, but the salvo in response. Crowan's going to be the first to drop. Toronto quickly after here as it is 2 for 1 in favor of Team Freedom. HGC having to make his way out. McIntyre trying to gain value out of that 11-7 and getting the self-heal. He's doing his best. He's surviving a long period of time, but a man on a mission can only hold his own for so long. 1 for 3 in favor of Team Freedom.
The amount of plays made there at the start of that Heroes Hearth opened that up beautifully. HGC dodged the charge, went in for the initiation, and it looked like they had enough that Shadow Stalk provided enough healing. Everybody hopped into bunker, came out of that with some armor. So nicely done by Team Freedom to turn that fight around. Take the experience lead.
And Jayhal, though that opening was very beautiful for HeroesHearth Esports, the fact that Team Freedom was able to turn that around that well, got to have some concerns when looking at the composition.
We got it.
I mean, I'm not going to say that we didn't immediately have some of the concerns, and we did. Nano Machine Coding at level 13 picked up for Blaze, going with the 40% auto attack debuff for 2.5 seconds when standing in ignited oil.
Bigger area at level 4 will help control the area and fight on top of that. So it's important to note for Team Freedom, Blaze is enough in the meta that you're comfortable there, but they'll need to fight or kite around the oil to stop some of that onslaught. The problem is if it's clumping up, we saw a great Deckard stay well and listen. You've got the Warden's Cage, so it's always tricky.
Have you ever Ancient Blessing the Twin Blade variant? So I feel like that's got to look like something pretty.
Mortal Strike the pickup here to deny some of that damage, and with Tyrande, she is very much a single target support, as that will deny 40% of the healing, but it's easy with a Twin Blades because it's just Heroic Strike. Heroes that receive the Heroic Strike, which is his trait, and if you're resetting it that fast with Twin Blades, that is healing reduction almost permanently as long as he stays on a target.
Yeah, as long as you stay on the single target, it's near 100% uptime. But if you have to get the swaps there or you aren't auto-attacking, it's not anywhere near the same case. Again, very Illidan focus, getting the auto-attacks to get resets in certain angles. As we see Team Freedom move up 70% here for HeroesHearth Esports. This is going to be the maybe last even footing talent tier fight HeroesHearth have. If they struggle here, it might be a bigger setback here when looking at the entirety of this game. Yoda taking pressure for now. McIntyre willing to trade into Nasmus, dealing with that auto attack debuff. Overtime here for HeroesHearth as Crowan gets the follow-up tether.
HeroesHearth will need to make something happen because 16 is rounding the corner for Team Freedom. They would love to have that in their favor. The lack of range damage, that turret's still standing, so McIntyre will trade out directly with that, making sure that that doesn't contribute to this potential next skirmish. They get Zuggerug on the front. Good healing reduction.
Really good step back there to dodge that Lunar Flare as we see a Jet Propulsion come in. That's going to be a 3-man stay while listen. Bunkered there, Sanctification as well. X-Strike late down there, but a 4-man salvo over the wall, getting all the damage onto HGC. As Crowan moves up, tries to get the damage, the passive, and the Warden's Cage sets up the double 2 for 2 here between the teams as Homicidal Swift strikes out.
It's a bloodbath. Crowan trying to survive the root. Just dodged there with the vault. Nicely played by both members with that 2 for 2 trade. That does put Team Freedom on the 16 talent tiers. We see the re-engagement. Crowan and team coming back in, trying to get the takedown, the healing reduction onto Zuggerug. No support here, but it does not matter as Deckard the first to fall. Crowan getting resets. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but Lutano still has the shield, still has the track down. Will go in. Can he get the long distance bomb, Hami? Oh my goodness.
That was so very close there. That had to have been like 5 HP to be able to survive out of that one. And with that, Team Freedom pick themselves up this Punisher, make the rotation down immediately towards the bottom half of the battleground, see if how much interest they put towards middle. The fact that they didn't spend any time on top shows that experience isn't so much their concern as much as it is prepping this battleground for the future. But if that's the thought process, normally you'd expect that pressure towards bottom. So if anything, I wonder if Freedom's even looking for the later stage, maybe control point A 2.0. Not sure if that's the official terminology, but I'm going with it.
I won't argue. Team Freedom moving forward with this protector, allowing them to start to take down structures, extend that lead, and potentially the race towards 20. Stormbolt not enough to take down that. Somebody will cycle through. Over time, they've turned their attention. Twin Blades Varian. The banner is already taken care of, providing that armor. Should be the Iron Forge one.
As the siege keeps up here for Freedom. Bottom Punisher gonna take this fort for free here. The question is, what cost here? Warden's Cage goes down onto Yoda as we get the Earthquake. There's the Sanctification. There is the resets. Stay a while and listen is gonna be dropped. And that is 2 kills here very quickly for HeroesHearth Esports. Now Freedom trying to retreat out here. And Jay, this is an opportunity for HeroesHearth to get back into this game.
Getting into tether range, he was able to make up that distance. Salvo's gonna come out in return. We'll put some damage down. But HeroesHearth survives that 2-for-0 trade in favor of HeroesHearth. Nice Lunar Flare to buy some time. But Twin Blades and the rest of the crew with the extra auto attack speed from Tyrael.
They need to use some of that auto attack speed for structures, because until this map opens up, HeroesHearth's lack of wave clear is going to continually put them in that tough position down the middle fort, eventually down the bottom fort already.
Watch this. That's like having Frenzy already. McIntyre's like, I'm going to walk here where the smite is. I'm going to beast this thing down.
Got to be a good time.
But you bring up a very interesting point, is that during that downtime, they could have potentially sieged during that. They did make up some of the experience by way of those kills. McIntyre, with that level 10, allows you to charge to allies, allows him to step away from that fight. There's one charge, there's a second. The oil by Nasmus setting all of this up, Dreadnought.
Yeah, BBJ able to kite away there. Not going to be under too much pressure, at least not yet, but at this point in time, Team Freedom doesn't need to demand any answers during that top skirmish, whereas HeroesHearth may very much need to. The silver lining is the experience recovery over that time frame and the double weaponry, but that makes it to where the next control point C over bottom, if HeroesHearth does struggle, because they didn't worry about macro, they worried about weapons, and they suffer in that team fight, it's going to be a big setback here. But the invade, it's a 2 versus 5.
Yeah, the Shadow Stalk is used, allowing the rest of the team to come in. Nasmus will be the first casualty. I believe that should be a reset for Hami. See if he goes to Swift Strike in, does get it onto Zugrug, who's still in Avatar form. Zugrug trying to survive. Healing Static will buy him some time, but it will not buy him his life, as another 2-for-0 trade in favor of HeroesHearth, loaded up on those items. As we'll see Hami go back to pick up that turret. And with that Twin Blades variant, now is the time, Dreadnought, to just chase him down and
body.
I was going to say siege up, but McIntyre's like, I'm having some fun. I got my ticket to BlizzCon. McIntyre, we heard from him last week, Dreadnought, has not gone to a BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So you know, like, that is such a feel-good story for him. He has been around competitive, been near the top on some of these teams, but he's missed out on that one event. He's been to the DreamHack Summer. Now it's his chance to make it to his first BlizzCon. Incredibly happy for McIntyre.
Yeah, we've seen him be able to perform quite a few times at the international stage, but never under the biggest tournament of the year. For all of competitive Heroes of the Storm, it's been a long-standing dream there for him, and honestly, as a guy who started playing against him and spent the rest of my time talking about him, well-deserved for McIntyre and the rest of HeroesHearth Esports. But I'm worried about Twin Blades, J-Hal. I get it. BlizzCon's cool and all, but what about my Twin Blades experience here? Because it's about a half second away from maybe getting a W.
He didn't go Frenzy, the Twin Blades upgrade. We'll have to have a stern talking to with him. But getting some healing regen with Glory to the Alliance. You heal up by auto-attacking. All jokes aside, Team Freedom Dreadnought still have a lot to play for in this series. HeroesHearth punched their ticket. Team Freedom still looking. If they win this series, Octalysis will be unable to close that gap. So there's still a lot of importance in this series in total. Even in loss, Team Freedom, it's good to pick up wins here, but they would really like this win to try and take over as the Lunar Flare comes down. It's a 20 versus 20. Homicido goes in, gets some damage. Lutano, unconquered. See if that does come into play, but the fight has broken out here, Trey.
Yeah, but the Ancient Blessings hitting all 5 members. Now look at that Crowan setup with that Warden's Cage to stay a while and listen there as McIntyre's going to go in. Finds reset 1 as the Sanctification drops along with the bunker. Collusion is now going to be the focus as we see Lutano with that salvo trying to kind of round. He gets the shielding with his level 20, but down to Taronda, down to Murden. And he is going to, in fact, drop here. HeroesHearth Esports just cleaning up shop. They prepped that bottom keep after the victory over the last skirmish. B-Steps laid out here, and they're ready to take a lead in this series.
BB Step J is what we'll call him. But one thing that we will call out is Twin Blades getting a win here on both Sky. HeroesHearth will take a 2-1 lead. I would venture to say that McIntyre right now probably does more damage than that Protector.
I think that's probably fair to say. High King's Quest completed, level 20, throwing down the auto attacks. On that note, Jayha, when it comes to the damage, asking ourselves how actually impactful is the Twin Blade variant. He outdamaged Genji, 67,000 there for him.
Okay, look, Maiev, you'll see the stats at the end of this game. Right now, HeroesHearth having a little fun. You'll see the stats at the end of this. Maiev has never been the hero, maybe on release, but you're like, Maev's a good hero, but you're my setup. Somebody else is doing all the damage.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I saw Maiev numbers like this. Take a look at this.
Dominating, sitting at the top of the line there with 81,000. I will say I think part of that is to the death ball composition that they have, but then also Freedom responded with death balling against them, and then Crowan found so much value out of those resets. Stacking that with that level 4 AoE physical damage, I mean, he had a couple of moments where we saw, I think it was 4 to 5 resets on that fan.
I think I get it. I really wondered about this. I asked Crowan about this, right? I'm like, playing Maiev, right? You want to get those Q resets, and I'm like, Crowan, why are you playing Lily, right? Just Q all day. You love it. You love it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I love it as
Lily. Q all day.
I think Maev's might be a little bit more difficult in that type of situation, but you definitely can set up your practice for it. You know, Lily is in the situation where you can put a pebble on it and still be as equally as effective as a character as if you were not pressing your Q, whereas not the case for Maiev.
There was a cartoon out there with, yellow cartoons. I don't know if we can say their name, but I remember the dad in that show had a bird. And he's like, I want to AFK while I work. And it was just like, it would like go up and down. It would just like press the same button over. I imagine.
That's the Lily experience right there. Yep.
McIntyre actually has a really funny Lily video out there. Stop by his stream. Ask him to share that with you. It's pretty funny. It's great. Back to the series. I don't know. Have you seen it?
Not that exact one that you're highlighting. No.
I'll tell you about it during our break.